25, but she looking for 30s. Big bag, call it Birkin. Big man, see me working. They big mad when she leaving with me. Ay, hey, yeah, yeah.
It's Jay, baby.
Broke heart with the thick hips. Red hair with the rails through her fake tits. Same girl wanna go and get a facelift. Bet you running round in circles doing same shit. You know I'm working myself to the bone. Betting the good Lord's watching. Betting on silver but praying for gold. Looking for lessons the good Lord taught me. The good Lord taught me.
What's the deal? What's the deal? We back again. PolitiKan per usual. Back to the interviews. We got our first artist today, man. Tapping in. He's a California resident. He's definitely somebody you should know, man. We got the artist Reilly. He's going crazy, man. You gonna bring him in right now? What's the deal? What's the deal?
Appreciate you having me out here, man. My name's Reilly. Out here in the 805, California West Coast native. Been here for like 8 or 9 years. And yeah, appreciate you having me on, man, for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're going to get to a few things. So first thing, you said you've been out here about 8 years. So where are you from? What is your hometown?
Yeah, so I'm from kind of all over. I've been born in Idaho, spent a couple of years in Michigan, so a city called Saginaw, which is like, I don't know, Flint, Detroit, and then Saginaw is like that third tri-city. It just hangs out there. So I was out there for like 6 years, 7 years, and then came out here right before I was done with high school, and just made a life for myself out here. Just hit the ground running, went crazy, started doing music. I knew that's what I wanted to do out here. Just wasn't the same energy out there. While I have a lot of friends back in Michigan, just wasn't what I was trying to do. I like being beachside, so yeah, I'm out here ready to do my thing. Absolutely.
So Idaho, where in Idaho are you from?
Born in Coeur d'Alene. I was out of there by the time I was like 6, so that's the one part I don't remember too much of. Spent some time in California, Michigan, a couple places in both of those states, and then I've traveled a lot through the states, but those are the only ones I've really like spent a lot of time in, other than travel.
Yeah, because my dad right now, he lives in Lewiston. So
Got you. Okay.
I'm familiar with Idaho. I used to spend my childhood summers out there at my dad's house. So
Yeah, there's a lot there.
yes,
I mean,
yes, sir, yes, sir. So, what made you get into music? What was the thing that made you jump into the hip hop scene?
man, I've been doing music right out the womb. Like I was 2 years old, already trying to figure out how to play drums. I was drumming in like punk bands. I mean, when I was younger, I used to be like a church kid, just going to church every Sunday, playing bass or guitar, filling in for like the adult bands or something ever since I was probably like, I don't know, 12, 13. And then when it was 2016, 2017, I started doing electronic music. So I started mixing, mastering, doing that kind of stuff for basically like house music, kind of trance music, that kind of stuff. And then when I went back to my drum roots, I got an actual drum set before I left Michigan, and that got me tapped back into just like my real passion, which is just drums and writing. So hip hop falls right in line with it. I'd always listened to hip hop. I never thought I had a chance with it up until I started writing soft songs with hard beats, and then kind of mixing the two, being able to tell stories, take people through like a whole journey. Because I'm not trying to be something I'm not, just telling stories and just writing the hardest songs I can. While being myself,
So when listening to you, you're very melodic. Would you consider yourself a rapper, or would you consider your music hip hop?
I'd say that without trying to be like too forward or anything, I think that I can be a rapper. I find myself to be more of a producer and a singer. But I think the only reason why someone wouldn't call themselves a rapper is because they're afraid that they're not. But I think I am. It's just that I identify more as like a singer, more of a producer. Because when I'm in that state of being able to, really control what's going on around me, I feel like that's when I'm able to develop other artists. I think I can make a song that's going to hit at one point or another. But I think my real passion is just taking someone's vision, structuring it out, kind of Kenny Beat style, trying to actually figure out what your goal is, how you're going to get there, and then bridging that gap, finding your sound and developing it.
So when you speak of engineering, I know there's so many different challenges. I've ran a few studios and I've had a few engineers myself. And a lot of these rappers, they don't like to like write. They don't come in with anything pre-prepared, and they love this new punch-in method. So, what is your thoughts on as an engineer? What are some of the challenges you have as far as like engineering, and what are the challenges when you have an artist that uses the punch-in method?
Well, I have two different approaches for it. I guess the thing, like the way I'd answer it is, as a producer, you can't charge by the hour. You're having to archetype a whole soundtrack. You're trying to figure out, okay, you're trying to do this sound over 8 tracks. How are we going to get that there? How are we going to bring out the softest sounds? How are we going to bring out the most intense that you can bring to the table? But how can we make it not sound super bland, like it's just a wash over all the 8 songs, like they sound the same? So for consulting with someone, I always just, as a producer, I think a good friend can be a good producer, helping you put together what beats you're going to select, how you're going to arrange them, that kind of stuff. That's just something I'll do friend to friend, and I don't even charge people for that. And then for engineering, that's just something I do as like an hourly rate. I think it's important to just set those expectations with people, especially like as a rapper, there's a lot of people that'll say, oh, well, I'm worth this, or I can bring this to the table. And the only way that I can consistently value myself is just to value my time. So you just charge a rate, you stick to it, you build your value, and then the right people will come around. Because if you try to do things project by project, I'm a perfectionist. If you ask me, should we do another take? I'm going to say yes 90% of the time. So I have to also say, okay, yeah, I think that was all right. We have this much time that you budgeted for. I think we have time for more. That's how it's usually able to get like good outcomes more often than not.
So how do you go about a session when you're not really feeling the artist's music? I know it's you're trading time for money, so I know you got to be professional. But how difficult does it get when you're not really feeling the artist's attitude or their music?
Yeah, so I mean that's a good question. I think the thing is I'll still, what I do with most artists is, if I really vibe with you, I'll give you the first session for free, and the first session's only 30 minutes tops. But I'll just feel it out. I'll see what your recording style is, and then in 30 minutes we're probably not going to be able to do much of anything, but I'll at least be able to determine, all right, this is your style. I can meet you here. Let's set up a schedule to knock this out. And if they just drop the ball, if everything looks like it was going to be one way and it ended up going another, I've had to have some hard talks with people for sure, because my time is valuable, and what I charge for people is definitely less than what I think I'm worth. I mean, if I was to be honest right now, I make way more at my day job that we don't need to get into than what I do recording people. But I still charge a rate to record people because I have to respect myself. And I think that's an important thing that every engineer should do. Even if you're just doing it in your garage, in your apartment, you just take it as serious as you can, and then it'll bleed through in your music you make.
So speaking of charging the day rate and charging by the hour per se, how do you go about monetizing as an artist? You know, streams are one way to get money, but which other way are you going about monetizing as an artist?
So for monetizing as an artist, it's particularly difficult out in the place that I live at. Living in San Luis Obispo, it's a college town, which means there's a lot of young people that want to be creative and they want to be heard. And if there's a lot of supply and not a lot of demand, I'm doing a lot of stuff for damn near nothing. So how that ends up working out is I have to add value to places that otherwise don't have it. So that means, sure, I can go to the busiest nightclub and have the opportunity to play there on a Friday, but since they're already packed wall to wall, they're not going to give me anything other than a couple of free drinks and a pat on the back. That's not really what I care about in the city that I live in, because people that want to know me already know me. And outside of that, it's sure, if I'm in a new town, I'm open to that kind of stuff. But what I'm more interested in doing is taking the dive bar that gives me a shot on their Friday, or the main club giving me a shot on the Wednesday, where I take their dead night, I add value, we charge a cover, and then make that percentage out of the middle. Because if I'm not bringing them extra revenue, it's hard for me to squeeze in my cut. You know.
Yeah, so a lot of these shows are pay for play. I mean, but the industry as a whole has been pay for play. So a lot of these artists, they if you see them on shows, they pay to be on those tickets. So how do you go about like choosing what's worth your money and not just paying for any slot that you can find, for whatever price that fits your budget?
Yeah, so personally, I've never been able to, and I know everyone has their way to get their money, so I'm not going to step on someone how they go about it, but I don't ever charge artists to perform at the venues that I can book. That might change. Of course, it's going to change as things change, but for me, I'd like to instead do splits of profits, not charge you to perform it. It doesn't do what I want. I want to be myself networking with new people. I want to be giving people that are working just as hard as me opportunities to do the same. And that all works together like as like synergy when I'm splitting profits with people that can push tickets. So if I approach 5 people and I say, all right, I'm going to put 5 of you on a lineup. Who thinks you can sell 10 tickets? And everyone and raise their hands. And I'm like, all right, cool. Who can sell 25? Most of them. And I'm like, who can sell 70 tickets? And then one person raises their hand. So I say, all right, we're going to do $10 a ticket. You say you can sell 70. All right, so front me 350. Once you sell all of them, you got the other 350. You made that profit back. I'm going to put you as the headliner now. And then I'm going to do the second person that says they can do 25 tickets. So I say, all right, front me 125. I'm going to give you 25 tickets. You can make that 125 and then double your money if you can sell out. For a small town, that's what gets the drive in. People actually doing their own street teamwork. They push their own tickets because it's going to them. And then if someone flops, it's on them. So if a name's on the flyer, they give a shit. And I like that personally. I don't like it to be the other way around. Rich kids just getting on a slot because they want it. Just not the vibe.
Yeah, I get that. A lot of people do a lot of features and it's a lot of cross promotion. But I hear from a lot of artists when they do features, they do all the promoting and the next artist wants 50% of the split, but they do 0% of the promotion. So how do you go about like collaborating with other artists and as far as the business, how do you go about those splits, especially when it comes to promoting it?
Well, the way I look at it as an artist is if I paid for the session and I bought the beat, it's my call on how the shots are everything is split. That's just my take on it. So if I paid for a session outright, you know, $200, 4 hour, 3 hour lockout, 2 hour lockout, whatever it is, and we pay that up front, bring in 2 other artists, one of them buys the beat. Well, I'm going to cut him in. Everyone gets their percentage for being on the track, and I'm of course going to add other people into the track. But the people that are actually putting money where their mouth is should be the first people to reap the reward from it. You know, because we're not really even talking about much money here. We're talking about $50 here, $100 there, in the hopes. It's just investing. We're just in this music stock market. You know, I have faith that I'm going to make it. So if I put out a single, I'm putting like $500, $1,000 into it. I want 100% of it back unless someone can match me. So that's kind of where it comes down to most of the time out here.
Yeah, a lot of artists, man, when it comes to conducting business behind these songs and collaborations, especially when they're in the studio vibing together, it gets real tricky, and a lot of business isn't handled beforehand. And I think that that's something that I preach to a lot of the artists when I meet them is that, hey, if you're gonna collaborate, make sure that you guys are clear on the terms and have something in writing before you just go in there and throw 10 people in the booth and just make music. A lot of this time they just vibe out. They got 15 people in the studio, and whatever comes out comes out. They shooting music videos, they drop an Instagram, but they ain't did no paperwork or they ain't even thought if this actually works, who gets what, and how are we going to actually conduct the business going forward.
It's, I mean, I can see how that happens a lot. I've been making music for a good while now, and with the city that I live in, because it's not LA, it's San Luis Obispo we're talking. So 80,000 people in our city, but a couple cities north and south of us with like a quarter mil. But for the most part, it's a small city. And with 80,000 people, there's only a rap community of tops 800,000 people, maybe. And there's no room to be really stepping on toes. So I speak my mind. Um, but at the end of the day, there's only a handful of people that are really about the business out here, that really are pushing and working as hard as they can. So we settle our differences. We don't let stuff get between us for the most part, because it's just pointless to do that. Uh, at least around here, so it's that small town vibe that is at least holding the coast together. Uh, for now, let's say for now, things are going really well right now out on the coast. It's going up for sure.
So, what other upcoming shows do you have planned right now?
I got an opportunity at the Fremont. That's a pretty cool theater that's in San Luis Obispo. It's gonna be at the 25th this Saturday, March, and that's gonna be a killer opportunity out there. It can hold almost 1,000 people. It's in my hometown. I'm gonna skateboard down from my place. I live like 3 minutes away from it, so that venue kind of hits home for me. I've always wanted to play there. I've played at every other venue in the 805 that I've wanted to. The Ventura Majestic Theater opening for Super Duper Kyle. Um, Slow Brew Rock working with James K. Wynn. They're the people that are inviting me back out again. They helped make that Fremont show a possibility, among a bunch of other cool locations. But yeah, the Fremont's a big one. And then I host shows at the Frog and Peach bar, which is downtown San Luis Obispo. It's a nice smaller venue, can hold like a couple hundred people, but I just bring in some big ass racks, line arrays of speakers into a small club, and then we just turn up. So that's where all the new up and coming hip hop is. San Luis Obispo 805 area for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, we got to touch on your latest release, The Rise of Judas. What was the inspiration behind this project and the name of this project? What made you name it that?
Well, I wanted to have a story that stood out for two reasons. One, I wanted it to be something that's eye catching, and at least I didn't want something that's actually controversial, but I wanted something that's gonna make someone like maybe pseudo intellectuals be like, oh, I remember Judas. He was in that Bible story that one time. So if someone even says it out loud in a group of five people, one person probably is going to be like, oh, Judas, isn't that guy from the Bible? It's the one that betrayed him. So beyond like that surface level, it's deeper than that. It's also about the rise of Judas is this story arc where you perceive him as one kind of person in the beginning, and then by the time he's on the other side of the story, it's just a completely different ball game. You can't trust him. Everyone knows that he's an outcast of society, and it's just how your perspective of someone can change in a really short time. Uh, and that has happened to me in my life. So I want to tell some cool stories about it. I'm on the positive side of it now, but for a while I was able to write before, during, and after various shit was going on, and it's a well-rounded story, and I think it was worth the wait because it took me almost a year to put together.
So, looking at the track list, what would you say is your favorite record on this album?
It's hard to say a favorite, but if I was to pick one right now, something that I should say you should go and check out would probably be the one with my homie Garrick Niffin. That one's the track 5, Frequency. I think that one's just crazy. I think the fact that we put that together in one day, all of those are beats that I made myself except for the first two. But yeah, 5, Frequency, sonically, it's like my favorite thing I put together in forever. That one's cool. And then 710 Split, I'm working on a video for that right now as well. That one's going to be out soon.
So, Sucker Punch, is that the leading single off the project?
that was a single that I wanted to have visual representation for it, but I wouldn't say it's the leading single. It's the first one that I made. It's the one that ties together the whole project. If you're trying to find like purpose behind the album and tie together other references and other parts of the album, if you listen to just that one, it kind of paints a picture for you enough. So if you hear stuff in track 4, 5, 9, those specifically, you would know what I'm talking about in this situation from 3. Uh, so yeah, I think it's not my, it's actually not even my favorite. It's not even my favorite, but it was perfect.
So so we're gonna actually do a live review of the video right now. So
Hell
let's
yeah,
check it out.
let's get it.
Okay, I like the story. It's already telling the story.
Heard you been waiting.
Is she getting dropped off by her boyfriend? Are you her
We
boyfriend?
played each
What's
other, and
what's going
life's
on?
amazing. It's who we are,
So at this point here, she's getting dropped
what
off.
we're made to
We're
be.
repeating cycles of
It's who
things.
we are,
This is just a daily repetition. It's just another
and
day in
what
the life.
we're made to be. Damn, it's who we are,
Seeing she got texted from that person that just
and
dropped her
what
off.
we're made to be.
So it's like,
We are,
It's okay. It's okay. Let's just forget
and
about it.
what we're made to be. I'm made to be for you.
who was the who came up with the concept for the video?
Myself, my friend Nico helped with this part here specifically, and then another part in the song as well. Just trying to tie in why is she in the story? Why does that matter? This is a longtime friend of mine actually for this part. He comes in at the end.
So a pastor picks up the prostitute but didn't take her in.
Yeah, he was gonna do it. He was gonna cheat on her.
What we're made to be, damn, it's who we are, and what we're made to be, it's who we are, and what we're made to be. I'm made to be for you. You want one?
Same guy texting again.
Don't let them make
Yeah,
you so
and that's actually my. He's on my label with me. His name is Sean Tua.
before you say them, can I stop repercussions? I'm just trying to get it, but you never trying to play these games. I just wanna hold you, I just wanna hear you scream my name. Baby, I love this since I know that you wanna satisfy. I just wanna hold you, call me king like I'm the Adonai. Looking through the mirror, all I see is
And you said you produced this yourself?
everybody vibing, but I cannot find my shorty. We've been through the
And
whole
my friend Wesley helped in the bass.
never have to worry where she go, cause she gon' call me. It's who we are, and what we're made to be. It's who we are, and what we're made to be. Damn, it's who we are, and what we're made to be. It's who we are, and what we're made to be. I'm made to be for you.
Sheesh.
Yes,
I
sir.
I have to say, that was beautifully shot. It really told a story. A lot of these music videos nowadays, they don't have a point. They just they just all over the place. They do whatever they want. They just in the alley for no reason. They just in the studio. They just in the strip club throwing money. A lot of the actual like art behind music videos, that's a lost thing. So I really enjoyed that, and I'm looking
Appreciate it.
forward to seeing some more.
Thank you. Thank you, man. Yeah, I got some
So
more
right
after
now,
that.
right
Absolutely.
now, I want to get into these rapid fire questions before
I'm
we get
ready.
up out of here. So I'm gonna ask you 10 quick rapid fire questions, and I just want you to answer them, as truthfully as you can. So
Let's see what we got.
let's start off. What is your best non-curse word to insult somebody with?
Dummy.
That's classic, you know. So your style. If you had to describe your style in one word, what would it be?
Clean. Do I have to use one word, or can I like describe it? Wait, is it has to be one word?
No, you can describe why you would call it clean. So if it
All right, bet.
clean
Okay.
is the word, why is that?
Just minimal, two tone, simple. Less is more. That's all it is. I don't know. I don't wear like expensive shit, but it's always clean.
So what is one subject that you would like to learn more about?
Egyptology, what they got going on in Egypt, what's going on specifically with the pyramids. I've been on this rabbit hole for the last month and a half. Videos, books, the library. There's nothing at Barnes and Noble on the subject, but yeah, there's a lot of questions that I have about pyramids and their age and their purpose, and yeah, I don't know, something. There's something there for sure.
So have you seen that there's pyramids and hieroglyphics inside the Grand Canyon?
I haven't seen that yet. I'm gonna
Yeah,
look
so
into
if
it for
you're
sure.
looking into that, look into the pyramids and hieroglyphs inside the Grand Canyon that are crazy. Like they look exactly like the Egyptian ones. So look into that. If you're into that, look into that for sure.
Okay,
Um,
absolutely.
where did you go on your last vacation?
I went back home, Michigan. Yeah, I went back home to Michigan. Saw family, and yeah, I had a good old time for like a week.
So, what was your favorite subject in school?
Math until pre-calculus. That is the first class I failed, and that really kind of broke me up until
So,
it. Yeah.
uh, dessert. What's your favorite dessert?
Right now it's just this like double fudge brownie ice cream, but honestly, I've been trying not to have dessert lately, so few and far between. But I do have some right now, so it's fire.
Who do you text the most?
Probably, mm, if it's not coworkers, then it's probably my dad. I at least text him once a day, and I text other people, but I don't text people that often. Um, but yeah, he's always at least once a day.
What was your first job?
Let's see. Was it lifeguarding? It was mowing lawns, but probably lifeguarding. Yeah, when I was like 15, and that was in Michigan. Uh, did that, and then DJing when I was 16. But yeah, probably 15 when I started lifeguarding.
So, what were you afraid of as a child?
Nothing. Definitely nothing. Too little as a kid. More now.
And last but not least, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time. Uh, well, Will Smith had to ruin I Am Legend for me. Uh, short of that. Let's just go with Airplane. I mean, it's a stupid movie, but it's funny. I could watch it 100 times.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So before we get up out of here, man, tell everybody where they could find you and tell everybody where they could find your latest projects before we get up out of here.
Perfect. Well, you can see it right here. Instagram, jreilly805. Just hit me up there. You can see me at shows at the Fremont this next Saturday, the 25th of March, or at Frog and Peach on the 29th. Just hit me up on Instagram. Let's get it. This is cool. Rise of Judas is out now, and this is dope. Thank you for having me out. This is a cool opportunity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you heard the man, J Reilly 805. Follow him. Check out his show at the Fremont. Rise of Judas out now. Make sure you go stream that. Sucker Punch. You seen the video, man. Make sure you tap into that. And you seen the vibe. You already know what it is with us, man. PolitiKan broadcasting, man. We doing our thing. We outside as usual. So make sure you follow all of PolitiKan broadcasting's link as far as our YouTube channel. Check out our blog, the PolitiKan Forum. And you can find all our podcasts and audio interviews on PolitiKan Radio on all DSPs. Now, you already know what my motto is, man. If they put you in a cage with a lion, just because you don't try to eat the lion, I mean, the lion ain't going to try to eat you, man. PolitiKan the podcast. We up out of here.
DBK. That boy Khalifa.
If you want to stop me, you're gonna have to fucking kill me!
Smoking Dank Sinatra, that's all gas. On the hunt in a tall grass. Intercepting every ball pass, then I run it back, that's a TD. Check the scoreboard, y'all last. We up one, you see me. Pussy niggas wanna talk about it, go to Hellcat, no demon. I be politicking on your broadcast at the red carpet like the famous homie. Ask your bitch, really famous homie, and you know it's in me, it ain't on me. So creative like I made Adobe. I've been balling like I played with Kobe. The day I quit is the day they show me I was never worthy like I ain't a trophy. Big bag, look at his face, he big mad. Big kid, got big wheels, no small change, got big cash. Big bills, no rent deals, y'all all fakes, that's Kim ass.